Morning.
Morning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning, everybody.
Hello. Hello, everybody. Good morning. How are you guys today?
I'm nervous.
Don't
Hi.
worry. Good, good, good. Okay. Well, don't worry. The exam, like I said, it's easy. Today, what we're gonna do is we have one more activity to complete. It's a video, but it's in 3 different parts and some activities that we have to complete. So I think that maybe around 9:20, maybe we will finish the activities, and then we can connect again, so you can have the exam.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let me just share my screen, and we can start with that. All right. Can you see the PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Let me just make this. Okay. So complete. All right. There you go. So in this case, we have this section 1D. It says how to make stress your friend. Remember that at the beginning of the course we saw a short video of this woman,
Yeah.
who was talking about stress and the things. I mean, it was very short. Do you remember what she mentioned at the beginning? More or less.
More or less. I don't remember very well.
Okay, don't worry.
What?
What?
Oh, what is the question? Sorry.
Do you remember what she said or what phrases she mentioned?
She mentioned one about the. She said, who the stress, all the stress is in the something like that.
Okay.
Se me fue la palabra, perdón.
No, don't worry. All right. So yes, in this case, we're not gonna watch the complete video, but we're going to be doing something specific. So, do you guys remember what TED Talks are?
Yes.
Okay. What about the rest? Do you guys remember?
Yes.
All right. So in this case,
A conference about the different topics. Find in YouTube.
They are mostly in YouTube or sometimes on Facebook.
Yes.
A lot. So yes, those are the places that we can watch these TED Talk videos. Now we're going to refer a little bit about this lady. Her name is Kelly McGonigal, and she's a psychologist at Stanford University in the U.S. And her focus, or what she does, is that she's interested in helping people understand and apply the latest scientific findings in psychology, like it says in here. Hold on, let me help Juan Carlos, because he hasn't been able to connect. All right.
I
Okay,
have
so yes. Uh-huh.
scientific finds in psychology, like a research, new research about that, about psychology finds.
Yes.
That case, new research, something like that.
Yes, scientific findings are a part of researches or investigations, in this case, studies related to psychology, neuroscience, and medicine.
No, okay.
Mhm. And her idea, well, it is in here, Kelly McGonigal's idea worth spreading is that if we can view stress as our body's natural reaction to a difficult situation, it's better for our relationships, health, and happiness. What do you guys understand for this this part in a specific?
Okay.
Body is a reaction, allergic, or disease.
Okay. What else?
Um, it's in control the mind.
Uh-huh.
And do you use the bad so good? Is how would you how do you manage
To manage?
uh,
Uh-huh.
manage the stress and benefits your body and your hair and your um, is take to good or to bad.
Uh-huh. Exactly. So know that we are going to live with stress, but instead of making like a negative part of the stress, as you mentioned, like take what is good for me or for us and make it a benefit for the body and everything.
You can
Okay.
get heights, you can get puff up.
Yeah,
When,
also.
yeah, when you, this is Juan Carlos, teacher.
Yes.
In fact, sometimes in my body reaction, suddenly I appear hives in my arms. Sometimes
Yes.
hives, ronchas.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Crush,
sometimes.
crush.
Yeah,
I
like a little rush. Uh-huh.
in the video, she told us that always says the stress is negative, but she want to change the
Concept.
use
Uh-huh.
about that because she wants to view stress like something good or or only know about stress help us to embrace or handle stress um, because we our body respond different forms to avoid or no to I don't know how do you say sobrellevar or
Like to handle or to manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
stress.
Mm-hmm.
It's more easy handle if I know the response in our bodies.
Okay. Yes. So that's interesting. Yeah. So in this case, because for example, sometimes I don't know if you have met people who, I mean, they can get stressed,
Mhm.
but sometimes it can help them get the work done or a homework finished, because that's how they work.
Yeah.
Like they work under pressure, they work with stress, but because they as you guys were mentioning at the beginning, it can it is a benefit for them. Obviously there are people who still have problems managing or handling stress,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously a lot of people still see it as a negative aspect, but I mean, if we start thinking like that, maybe we can change a little our lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like when you say if you don't want to the enemy, join him.
For
exactly.
teacher, for
Mhm.
example, in current in this situation, pandemic, you can feel that the people stressed and environment stressed. Any place you feel the stress.
I think it's more is the people feel more panic
Yeah.
or to stress.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. Like panic can lead to stress, but it depends on the, because it's panicking because of the pandemic situation, but it is also stressful. Well, for example, I know people who are stressed because they watch the news or because they watch things on Facebook or on YouTube, and then the economic situation is not
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that can actually that makes them really stressed.
Yeah.
Or the ones that have to work because I mean it is essential, and then they have to go back to their houses, and maybe they get stressed because of the risk of contaminating or infecting a part of their family members. I mean, it is like a complete uh, stress for some people like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Okay. All right. So let's continue with this part. Okay. I don't know if you have your book with you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah.
we are or the copies, the ones that don't have the book yet.
Yeah.
The copies, you can go to page, it's still unit 1, but it's on page, let me tell you, it should be 21.
Okay.
Okay. Chronic stress. Chronic stress can cause serious health problems. True.
All right, so the first thing that I'm going to ask you to do before you tell me the answers is do it individually first in silence.
Okay.
Answer the part that says previewing, true or false, and then this part.
Okay.
And when you finish, tell me so we can compare the answers.
I hear birds sing.
What?
I'm listening. I hear birds
Oh,
sing.
yeah.
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready?
Everybody finished?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, in this case, remember, it is a previewing. So, in a way, we are going to be answering these sentences as we watch the video. But for number one, chronic stress can cause serious health problems. What did you guys put?
True.
True? All right.
True.
Okay. Yes,
True.
it's true.
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 Yeah. So for number two, the way you view stress can transform the way your body reacts to it.
True.
Okay,
True.
good. Number three, it says stressful experiences can increase your chances of dying by 30%.
True.
True.
Okay.
I don't know.
In the video, say the 43% in dark and falling is 30%.
3%.
I don't know.
Okay. So in this case, we can say that it's true, and then
True.
later, later we can actually check on the video if it's mentioned in here.
Yeah.
And number four, we have people who are closer to their loved ones live relatively stress-free lives.
True.
All right. Yes. So I mean, in general, it is true. All right. And now in here, these are related or connected to the words involved. So for in comparison with, what did you guys put?
Relative.
Relatively.
Relate.
There a
Relatively.
relatively.
Relatively. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In comparison with is relatively.
Relatively.
Mhm. Relatively. Yes. Letter B, to change significantly.
Transform.
Transform.
Mhm. That's very
Transform.
simple.
Transform.
Good. Long lasting.
Chronic.
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 Yes. And events or occurrences.
Experience.
Experiences.
Experience.
Okay. Very good. Do you guys have any questions with this activity or this part of the activity?
No.
Nope.
No.
All right. So the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to watch the first part of the video.
Okay.
And if you see in the same page, page 21, there is a section that is called viewing. And the instruction is watch part 1 of the TED Talk and choose the correct options. We have question 1. What helped McGonigal change her mind about stress? And it says an experience, a personal experience or the results of a study. And number 2, who has a lower risk of death? People who don't experience a lot of stress but believe that stress is dangerous, or people who experience a lot of stress and think stress isn't harmful. Okay, we're gonna watch this video and then you'll answer. Let me just share the screen. Where's the book? Okay, here. All right, can you see the software of the book?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, let me put the video. Can you listen to the video?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start it.
For years, I've been telling people stress makes you sick. It increases the risk of everything from the common cold to cardiovascular disease. Basically, I've turned stress into the enemy. But I've changed my mind about stress. And today, I want to change yours. Let me start with the study that made me rethink my whole approach to stress. This study tracked 30,000 adults in the United States for 8 years. And they started by asking people, how much stress have you experienced in the last year? They also asked, do you believe that stress is harmful for your health? And then they used public death records to find out who died. Okay, some bad news first. People who experienced a lot of stress in the previous year had a 43% increased risk of dying. But that was only true for the people who also believed that stress is harmful for your health. People who experienced a lot of stress but did not view stress as harmful were no more likely to die. In fact, they had the lowest risk of dying of anyone in the study, including people who had relatively little stress. So this study got me wondering, can changing how you think about stress make you healthier? And here the science says yes. When you change your mind about stress, you can change your body's response to stress.
All right. So, were you able to answer the 2 questions?
B.
Yes.
B.
The result of a study.
B.
Okay, so it was because of a study, and according to her, who has a lower risk of death? People who don't experience a lot of stress, or people who experience a lot of stress?
B.
B.
Okay.
It's letter A, no?
All right, let's see. All right, so in this case, you mentioned...
The ley de Murphy.
The Murphy's law.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Murphy law. All right, so this one you mentioned B, and this one you said
C.
B.
B. B.
Okay, so let's see. Let's start with B first. Yes. So in this case, it is what she mentioned, and I think everybody agrees, is that she took I mean, she decided this because of studies, and well, as she mentioned, people who experience a lot of stress and believe that it isn't like harmful. What do you think about this part that she mentioned? Like, do you agree on this, or do you think it's not correct, or what are your thoughts?
I think it's correct because see people manage to control stress is benefit of the body
Mm-hmm.
and reduce.
Teacher, if you think anything, are you going to get the damage you? And then this thing, are you going to damage?
Okay, so yes, you are, as you mentioned, the Murphy law. So you think about it, and you're attracting either positive or negative things.
Yeah, that our minds are powerful, teacher.
Yes, and now I know that she mentioned this, but do you consider like stress as an actual or potential death risk for people?
Yeah.
Yes.
Depend your personality and your character. I don't know. Anyway,
Depends, for example, the, I don't know, psychologic or,
personality.
yes.
Yeah.
The level of stress of the people, no?
Yes, also. Definitely. And especially the people who are too, or that the ones that get too overwhelmed with the things, they can. I mean, it is part of stress, so it can definitely affect them. Okay.
Teacher, what is harmful?
Harmful is something that it can cause you to be in either to be hurt, not
Yeah.
physically, but also like mentally, not only physically but also mentally, that it's dangerous for you.
It's like a painful?
Perjudici-
No,
painful is more
No.
like physical. Harmful is a situation or a thing in which you can get hurt, but it can be physically, it can be mentally, or it can be simply dangerous for you.
Okay.
And it can affect you in a negative way, let's say.
It is not only or everybody, everything. Only here.
No, yeah, it can be for everything, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so do you guys have questions with this part?
No.
No.
All right, so what we're gonna go is we're going to go to page 22.
Okay.
And sorry, hold on. On page 22, we have section B. We're gonna do for now only section B, and it says watch part 2 of the TED Talk. Which option best summarizes the Harvard social stress test and its outcome? And we have letter A, which it says participants were told that the symptoms of stress that they experienced during the last test were positive. This led to them having relaxed blood vessels. B, participants were asked to consciously lower their breathing and heart rate before taking part of the test. And this led to them having relaxed blood vessels. And participants were categorized based on how they view stress. Those who view stress as positive had relaxed blood vessels. Do you have a question with vocabulary words from there?
No.
No.
All right. So let's watch the video, and then you tell me what you consider is the answer. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Now, to explain how this works, I want you all to pretend that you are participants in a study designed to stress you out. It's called the social stress test. You come into the laboratory, and you're told you have to give a 5-minute impromptu speech on your personal weaknesses to a panel of expert evaluators sitting right in front of you. And to make sure you feel the pressure, there are bright lights and a camera in your face, kind of like this. And the evaluators have been trained to give you discouraging nonverbal feedback, like this. Now, if you were actually in this study, you'd probably be a little stressed out. Your heart might be pounding, you might be breathing faster, maybe breaking out into a sweat. And normally we interpret these physical changes as anxiety or signs that we aren't coping very well with the pressure. But what if you viewed them instead as signs that your body was energized, was preparing you to meet this challenge? Now, that is exactly what participants were told in a study conducted at Harvard University. Now, in a typical stress response, your heart rate goes up and your blood vessels constrict like this. And this is one of the reasons that chronic stress is sometimes associated with cardiovascular disease. It's not really healthy to be in this state all the time. But in the study, when participants viewed their stress response as helpful, their blood vessels stayed relaxed like this. Their heart was still pounding, but this is a much healthier cardiovascular profile. It actually looks a lot like what happens in moments of joy and courage. Over a lifetime of stressful experiences, this one biological change could be the difference between a stress-induced heart attack at age 50 and living well into your 90s. And this is really what the new science of stress reveals, that how you think about stress matters. So my goal as a health psychologist has changed. I no longer want to get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress.
All right. So were you able to answer this particular section or question?
No?
No?
No.
Do you want to watch the video again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let me play it.
Now, to explain how this works, I want you all to pretend that you are participants in a study designed to stress you out. It's called the social stress test. You come into the laboratory and you're told you have to give a 5-minute impromptu speech on your personal weaknesses to a panel of expert evaluators sitting right in front of you. And to make sure you feel the pressure, there are bright lights and a camera in your face, kind of like this. And the evaluators have been trained to give you discouraging nonverbal feedback, like this. Now, if you were actually in this study, you'd probably be a little stressed out. Your heart might be pounding, you might be breathing faster, maybe breaking out into a sweat. And normally we interpret these physical changes as anxiety or signs that we aren't coping very well with the pressure. But what if you viewed them instead as signs that your body was energized, was preparing you to meet this challenge? Now, that is exactly what participants were told in a study conducted at Harvard University. Now, in a typical stress response, your heart rate goes up and your blood vessels constrict like this. And this is one of the reasons that chronic stress is sometimes associated with cardiovascular disease. It's not really healthy to be in this state all the time. But in the study, when participants viewed their stress response as helpful, their blood vessels stayed relaxed like this. Their heart was still pounding, but this is a much healthier cardiovascular profile. It actually looks a lot like what happens in moments of joy and courage. Over a lifetime of stressful experiences, this one biological change could be the difference between a stress-induced heart attack at age 50 and living well into your 90s. And this is really what the new science of stress reveals, that how you think about stress matters. So my goal as a health psychologist has changed. I no longer want to get rid of your stress. I want to make you better at stress.
Okay, so according to her, and let's see if you agree with this, did she mention that the study was, or the people or participants were told that the symptoms of stress were positive? Were they told, were they asked to do this or to do this?
The
What did
first
she?
To the
little A.
Letter A.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Grape.
B.
I think I
Repeat.
Two.
What do you guys think?
I think it's
I think C.
sí. Sí.
All right, so let's see.
I think
So-
letter A.
Well, in this case, the answer, according to her, was well, what she saw or what the study reflected was that the participants were told that the stress, like any symptom that you have of stress, is positive. As we were talking about it at the beginning, that if you are stressed, like, I don't see it negatively, but make sure that you see this as a benefit of your body, let's say.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you guys have questions with this?
No questions.
No.
No?
No.
All right. So we're going to do this before we actually we can do this during the feedback next class. All right. I have to. Are you guys ready for the quiz?
I think so.
All right.
Me too.
Let me stop sharing this. Okay. I need you guys to. I'm going to send a link on WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay.
I need you guys to. I mean, if you're using the computer, to click on the link, and it's going to open Google Classroom.
Okay.
In Google Classroom, I will show you what you have to do. But let's end this meeting and click one more time in the link that I sent for the Zoom session. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
But first, let me send you the. I'm gonna send you the link on WhatsApp so you can
Okay.
you can be already ready for the time that we go back to the session. Did you get the link?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to finish or end this Zoom session.
Okay.
Click one more time in the same link that I sent, and we can
Okay.
start.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Wait,
Bye.
wait.
Wait.